Hey everybody, it's Brian and Rachel Goulet of the Goulet Pen Company and InkNouveau.com. It's time for another Right Time at 9. This is December 7th of 2011, and this could be possibly the last broadcast of 2011 for us.
If not, it'll be next week.
Yeah, Rachel is...
It'll only not happen next week if baby comes early.
Yeah, Rachel's due date is 2 weeks away.
My scheduled C-section.
Yeah, and unless the baby girl decides to come early, in which case that would be exciting for sure.
It would be exciting.
Yeah, life is going to change for us once again. I mean, it already changed once when we had Joseph, and now we're going to have another one. So it's going to be interesting to see how we cope with a second child. I've heard that the second one is exponentially more of a handful than the first.
Especially with an almost 2-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're really excited, but it is going to change some things about the way that we do, Right Time, the way that we do certain things on the blog and, certain activity that we have on Facebook and things like that. Really, we don't know exactly how we're going to be able to adjust. So
That's why we have help now.
Yeah, it's just something we're going to have to feel out and play it by ear. And I'm sure you guys all understand as we, adjust in this new transition. So in the meantime, we've been working hard to try to prepare and get everything crossed off our to-do list that we've been putting off for a little bit. We've been working on training our staff to be able to do things smoothly while we are, tied up with family.
Yep.
And then onward as we have 2 children to take care of as we run things. So we've been doing a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, and we're doing a lot of extra stuff too. That's why the blogging has been kind of light lately, is that I've really just been tied up with other things.
There's a lot of end-of-the-year stuff you have to do anyway in a retail business between taxes and inventory and, performance reviews and, things like that. So...
Yeah.
Just that alone has, and the fact it's the holiday season and in the retail industry is always a busy time, but
sure. So
trying to balance all that with everything else we have going on, but we're handling it well.
And there's been new products coming out, we got new AHABs on the way, the clear demonstrator, the colored demonstrator AHABs are going to be here on Friday. We're not going to do a big release of these ones, frankly, because we're not getting enough to really satisfy what would...
We don't really want to buzz it up more than we can handle. But if you do want a tinted demonstrator AHAB, go ahead and sign up for the email notification. That way, whenever they come in on Friday, once we check everything off, we'll put them in stock. You'll be notified. So first come, first serve. Some of the colors will sell out pretty quickly. Some we may have for a while. And hopefully more will follow in a couple weeks.
Heartman85 said giving birth will be easier than opening a Goulet package.
In my case, yeah. Scheduled C-section.
I would say that is the ultimate Goulet package right there.
It is. I don't have to do any of the work. It's kind of nice. I just get to recover. But anyway.
Yeah, that's when the work really begins.
Being a mom.
Yeah. But no, what were we talking about before that? I forgot.
No blue shrink wrap.
Yeah. So
blue drapings. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Surgery. Anyway. What were we talking about? Oh, just all the new stuff going on, and we're talking about labs.
Yeah. So I've been meaning to shoot videos, and I've got a to-do list of like a billion things to do, and I'm just having to learn to not get so antsy if I'm not able to get to something. There's a lot of ideas that I have and things I want to do, and I'm just finding that lately it's been hard to find the time to get some of the things done that I wanted to do. So it's
that family first work life balance. I'm at the point where I'm struggling to lift Joseph around and deal with all the diapers and chasing him everywhere. So Brian's had to step into mommy role a little, or I guess super daddy role.
Yeah, I have. I've been having to take care of more family stuff and getting the house ready and putting together baby swings and cribs and changing tables, and we already had a lot of that stuff, but now that we have both our house and the shop, we've needed to duplicate a lot of that stuff. So even though we already got a lot of the baby stuff to begin with, we've had to get duplicates of everything. So it's been a lot of work to just kind of just manage everything in our daily life. So, and we're trying to keep the things going that are really critical to, the things that you would expect.
Getting your orders out on time. And
getting things shipped quickly. Responding to your
questions.
Doing, email responses, personal email responses and stuff. And shipping quickly and still having
things in stock for you to purchase.
Yeah, exactly. All that stuff has become, more challenging than it has been in the past because we are growing and we're getting bigger. So it's going to be interesting to see how things progress. But anyway, where we have had some success recently is the project that we mentioned a few weeks ago. Was it 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago? I don't remember exactly how long ago it was, but it was a project that we had announced that we were working on where you can compare the line written with different nib sizes of different pens. Mm-hmm. And
that's one of the biggest things we get via email is, I'm thinking about a vanishing point, but do I want a fine or a medium? Or I'm used to a Lamy fine. How does that compare? Or things like that.
Yep. And we'd asked you guys for some ideas for names and got some really good ones. It was kind of tough to choose, but the we got some that were a little easier than others to say, but we settled on the Nib Nook. And it wasn't an easy decision because we actually
as of this afternoon we're going back and forth.
Yeah, it literally was a couple hours ago that we finally settled on the name. But anyway, Nib Nook is what we decided on. It's one that we got actually a lot of suggestions of people that had that idea. And what was kind of the clincher for me is Drew. He's our shipping manager. His wife actually doesn't really know that much about fountain pens, but Drew asked her what she thought it should be called, and she completely on her own thought of the Nib Nook. And I said, you know what? If somebody who doesn't really know much about fountain pens can understand and recognize Nib Nook as something that would be helpful as a tool like that, that's probably a good thing to call it.
So it's now live on the site. It's you'll find it in our top menu right next to the swab shop. Yeah, exactly. Swab shop, ink drop, Nib Nook.
Yeah, we wanted to keep it like bump, short, quick, easy to type, easy to say,
easy to share.
Yeah.
So go ahead and check it out. We don't have all of the pens up yet. We debated, do we wait till we have them all done or do we get what we have up? Mm-hmm. So we have most of them. We still have quite a few on the to-do list. There's quite a few pilots, some platinums. Just a couple random things here and there.
Well, no, the only pilots that we have left are the
Prera, the Namiki Falcon.
Yeah, the Falcon. I've got
the Plumix. There's a couple ones.
Yeah, but most of the ones that we get asked about are up there already. Mm-hmm. So if
we put up the custom 74 and the vanishing point. We just need the rest of the pilot line.
Yeah,
and we have all the platinums to do.
Yeah, so you guys will just have to bear with me. It takes a lot of time to do. Not only actually inking up and cleaning out the pens and doing all that, but then to scan it in and edit it and all that stuff. Okay, we get asked here. Freddie Mac says, when you drop a pen, will you still keep the measurements? Probably. We
haven't decided for sure. I mean, if we've already done the work, like for example, you'll see Tatcha in there, but we've decided to drop the Tatcha line. But we might keep it up for a while because if you guys own these and you want comparisons, I don't know that we'll be seeking out pens that we don't normally carry. But I think if it's something we carry and then drop, then maybe we'll maybe we'll do that. We've debated the same thing with the swap shop. We're actually just talking about that this afternoon.
Yeah, we were.
What happens to discontinued ink, or do we put things in the swap shop that we don't necessarily carry because initially we put up some things like that we had samples of from the folks sent us, like Mont Blanc Racing Green or Parker Penman Sapphire. But then people kept asking, I can't find it on your site. I want to purchase it. I'm like, well, that's because it doesn't exist anymore.
Literally hours after we would put up, either inks that were discontinued or ones that we didn't carry, we get emails from people asking, where are they? They can't find it on our site. They're so confused. And I was like, geez, it's almost more trouble than it's worth to have that.
So I don't know, like that. With the Nib Nook, we'll have to play it by ear. So we'll see. Right now we're only focusing on the ones that we regularly sell, And then as time allows, we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll play it by ear.
And it's, as we talked about before, it's all standardized with Noodler's Black on Rhodia dot pad paper. All done by Brian, so it's the same handwriting, the same angle, everything like that.
Yep.
And, it's not really...
I know my handwriting's not the best.
But it's consistent.
But, I was going for consistency.
And it's not really a tool to, we're debating about the Nib Nook. It's like, it doesn't imply anything about wet or dry, how it writes, or how much flexibility is in the nib or anything like that. It's really just to see the width of the lines that are produced. Using the same ink, the same paper, the same person writing, with all those things consistent, the variable will be the width of the line based on the nib.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the tool. I want to talk a little bit about the writing samples that I actually did for the tool. I kept them more or less consistent so that you can... I found in a lot of tests that we were doing when we were first setting it up that, I obviously wanted the name of the pen and the nib size as part of the writing sample, but I also wanted to have a portion of the writing sample to be completely consistent so that you can... more directly compare one pen to another. I found that if you just had a writing sample that was random, not random, but it varied. If you just had the name of the pen, or I found that the more consistent you could make the overall image, the more valuable of a tool it was to be able to compare. So what I did is I wrote the name of the pen, like the make and model, if you will. And then the type of nib. And if there are multiple types, like for example, Lamy has, their steel nib and then they have a gold nib. I would put, 14K for the gold,
or steel,
or I'd put steel. But if it didn't, like for example, if it was a Schaefer 300, it's only a steel nib. I didn't write steel in that case.
I think you did.
Did I?
Yeah, you were consistent.
Was I?
I believe so.
With everything? I don't know if I was with everything, but... Anyway, I tried to be consistent where, it needed clarification. I'm not sure that I did it for everything. But anyway, some of the names are kind of long and it started to get a little scrunched. But anyway,
and then you did your
I had
X's
that part.
And squiggles and lines.
Yeah. So I did some X's because you're basically viewing on the X that goes from the top left to bottom right, you're viewing the downstroke. And from bottom left to top right, you're viewing the cross stroke. So some of the nibs have a little bit of
variation
spread when you spread the tines a little bit, when you, especially some of the gold nibs are a little softer.
The way do we do the flex pen? Oh yeah, the Noodlers, those are, we have that on the list too. Noodlers will be going
and the Mickey Falcon will be like that too. But even some of the gold nibs like
have a little bit of spring to them.
Yeah, they do. And it's interesting too in doing the samples, seeing which nibs had spring to them where you could really see a difference, and which ones you couldn't. Like some of them, you really couldn't tell a difference except in the fine size. You could really see a difference. So that's the kind of thing.
The two lines at the end?
Yeah. So I did the X's, and then I did the squigglies as well. I kind of like those little figure 8 squiggly things too that I have on the tool. I don't know why, I just like doing those. That also shows you if there's any variation too. And then I did 2 lines at the end, and that is one line where I was holding the pen perfectly perpendicular to the line that I was drawing. So that shows you the true cross stroke. What was I saying?
Perpendicular?
No, perpendicular is right. The pen was like this, and I was writing as a cross stroke to make the line. That's the one on the top. And then the one on the bottom, I turned the pen completely this way and did it dragging the pen back to get you a downstroke. So I tried to get you a nice long cross stroke and a nice long downstroke. And if there was any spring or flexibility to the nib on that downstroke part, I would try and give it a little more pressure so you could see maybe what line variation you could get if you gave it some pressure. And a lot of the nibs, you can't tell any difference between the two. But if you especially look at some of like the 14 karat and 18 karat gold nibs.
Or italics, obviously.
Or italics, definitely. That's where you'd really be able to tell a difference. So I thought that would be kind of a pertinent way to show, at least in a writing sample so short, which we had to make it short in order to make it large enough of an image to really be useful to compare. So it was a really fine balance.
Small enough where you could pull multiple ones up on the screen to compare rather than scrolling, or that defeats the whole purpose. You want it to be a true comparison tool.
Yeah, so it was a bit of playing around that we had to do to get it set it up in the right format and everything, and so it's
Someone's asking about the Schaefer nibs. Are they the same between the 300 and the Prelude, and then also talking about the 100?
Yeah,
they do share the same nib, right?
Yeah, there's certain pens that share the same one. We tried to...
Like all the Lamis and the Edisons. And...
Yeah. Like, for example, the Lamy ones are an obvious one. Those nibs are interchangeable. The Lamy Vista Joy All-Star CP1.
And you'll notice we have all the models in the drop-down, but if you select it, it's going to pull up the same sample. Yeah. Schaefer, you did different samples of.
Yeah, I did, because they look identical. I wasn't sure if the 100, the 300, and the Prelude were really the same nib used on all three, because they're not like interchangeable like the Lamy ones, but they look completely identical. So I still did each of those separately. I think they ended up looking the same because they're probably basically the same nib. But anything like that, I did them differently. If it was something like Lamy or Kaweco,
where they're very obviously interchangeable.
Yeah, if they're interchangeable, like the Edisons. I didn't do an Edison, Hudson, and Collier in here. I did because the nibs are all the same throughout the brand. So I did the same sample, and we just labeled them as the different models that we carry, so that it was to try to make it simpler. So if someone really new was coming and using this tool, they might not be familiar with the fact that Lamy uses interchangeable nibs on many of their models of pens. They might just
be looking for, I want to look at what a Lamy Vista Extra Fine looks like.
Exactly. So that makes it easier to look up there.
Has a suggestion. Any way to include a ruler with millimeter units to have a standard to compare to pens you don't have listed? It's something we could look into. I can say the dot pad paper is nice because the dots are 5 millimeters apart, so you do have that kind of as a point of reference. Yeah,
the ruler wouldn't help much because honestly, a lot of these lines are under 1 millimeter. So it's really not going to help you that much to have a ruler.
You really need like a
you're
talking digital calipers.
You're talking most fine nibs are somewhere in the neighborhood of 0.4 to 0.5 millimeters.
0.6, 0.7 even, depending on the brand.
So you got to get really, really fine, and there's really no ruler that shows anything that fine.
Fractions of a millimeter.
Yeah, you got to get into like digital calipers, which we can do.
It's something we've thought about doing, and I will point to Richard Bender does have a PDF chart on his site of Western nibs versus Japanese nibs, and kind of showing, okay, an extra fine Japanese is going to be around 0.3, and the fine's around 0.4, and you can Western and Japanese are one off. You can kind of see that.
Yeah.
But it's not specific to the model. But, something we'll think about. At this point, we are making no promises of anything anytime soon.
Yeah.
But it'll be on our radar for next year.
Yeah, this is a tool, and the reason we called it the Nib Nook is because we could see this tool sort of like the swab shop when we first set it up. We had 168 colors. Or no, 138. I can't remember how many colors we had when we came out with the swab shop.
A lot.
But anyway, I think it was 168. So we had a certain number of colors. There was nothing else that you could do. It was just the interactive tool. As our colors grew, we organized them by group or by color group. We organized them by brand. We added the tools where you could. We added the buttons where you could get samples or bottles. So the tool really grew as we developed it more. And I could see the Nib Nook being the same kind of thing where we can start off with the basics and just show it and then get into more dynamic things over time. Now, this is
showing a picture of the nib next to it or something. Who knows?
Yeah, we're open to ideas. Just realize that these ain't going to happen anytime soon. Anytime soon. So, I'm still trying to get the basics. Oh, hello. I think we just lost power.
Which means
we're not broadcasting right now. Yep, we just lost power. Oh, great.
Can I have my iPhone? Oh.
Okay. That'll make for an interesting YouTube thing. it?
It'll take a while for the internet to internet's not up yet.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it is on. Cable box is off.
Oh, man.
I wonder if we're going to lose power.
I know, it's been storming really hard. Let me at least turn the cable box back on.
Can I have my iPhone? I'll tweet out real quick. Right behind the box.
We're still recording, by the way.
Oh, internet's back.
Well, isn't that interesting? Okay. Okay. Is everybody still here? That was interesting. We just lost power. Okay, let's see.
Good thing we have laptops, huh?
Yeah, really. Well, I kept recording the whole time, so everybody on YouTube and the podcast will be a little bit confused, but
when it goes dark and
it'll be consistent. Yeah. Is everybody there? I don't see any activity in the chat. Okay. I want to make sure we're still broadcasting here before we get back into it.
Yeah, everyone's here.
Okay. What were we talking
Sorry. Oh, goodness. Well, everyone discovered we have the Atramentis up, so we could just go ahead and talk about that.
Yes, that's true. We do have the Atramentis. It took a really long time for it to come in.
We still don't even have everything in yet. I ordered early October. It's all made on demand, when we place the order, especially because they put English labels on for us, and they kind of ship it out as it's made. So, like, literally, we're still getting in shipments. We have most of it. I think there's one more that's still coming. So, at this point, we had enough in. It was the kind of thing, like, we were holding off initially. It kind of started to trickle in. We've gotten, like, 6 different shipments of the Atramentis. 6 so far. Yeah, the 7.
Yeah.
There's like 6 more colors I think we're waiting on.
Yeah, it'll end up being like 7 shipments total. And it has kind of been coming in waves, and we were waiting to kind of get it in and then do swabs and samples and so on, but it took so long for it to come in the first place. We got caught up with the Ahab release, and then we had Thanksgiving, and now we're in the holiday season, and we're running pretty busy as it is. So we were kind of like, well, we'll just wait for it all to come in, and then we can list it all. And it still hasn't come in, and it's getting to the point where it's like, geez, we've got like Christmas scented inks and stuff like that people are probably going to want before Christmas. So we can't really wait to list it anymore. So
some people just came back. They had to refresh. For those of you just coming back, our power went out. We've been having really bad rain and wind, like crazy heavy rain.
Yeah, sorry, it's been crazy here today.
We just got back up. We just started talking about the Atramentis. So our shipments have been trickling in. We just got it all. I divided it in a couple lines. We have the full standard line, the black edition, which are like the black colored bottles, which are ideal if you have to store it in light. It's supposed to help protect it. And then the holiday one, so Christmas, and Brian was just saying we were rushing to get that listed, so you can have it in time for Christmas.
We kind of got
a whole bunch of other scented inks, which are we got so excited with each shipment coming. Everyone's smelling everything coming in.
Yeah, it's been cool. There's some really cool scented stuff. We got kind of hit with everything all at once between, the release of the Ahab Flex pens, the Thanksgiving holiday. We're having to wrap up a lot of things in general. We're having to do, performance reviews and stuff for our employees. And, we've got year-end stuff to wrap up in terms of taxes and inventory and stuff like that because we got the baby coming. So we're trying to get ahead of that stuff as much as possible for the end of the year things.
And then I need to refresh. Your chat hasn't caught up at all.
I need to refresh. Am I broadcasting? Yeah, I'm broadcasting.
No, your chat's stuck from
Well,
before.
if I refresh, then it's going to screw up the video.
Oh, okay.
So I'll just keep on going here.
Okay.
You just let me know what's going on in the chat.
There are a couple questions, and then this goes back to maybe you all didn't hear. Literally, I ordered this early October. They make it on demand. It's taken literally two months for it to come in. So you guys are just going to have to be patient. If there are any new colors that carry in, it's going to be a while. If we run out of stock and we need to replenish, it's going to be a while. We'll do everything we can, but, you know, at this point, like, I am not comfortable making, you know, it's much like some special Noodler's colors, like, you never really know. I can't make any promises as to when we're going to have anything in stock at any point in time.
Yeah, we're trying, but there is no U.S. distributor. We're having to get the stuff direct from Germany, and it just takes a while. You know, we're going to do our best, but when you're talking about there's over 300 colors total in the line, we're importing about half of those to start. So, I mean, even that, 150 colors is just
we brought in 142.
overwhelming. 142?
Yeah, and some we had, you know, some are being held back either, you know, because we broken
like we're waiting
bottles
on,
or things like that happen in shipment. Because, you know, when it's traveling from all the way across the world, stuff happens.
Yeah.
Normally you have a distributor that filters that sort of stuff out. But, you know, so there's probably 120 some colors listed currently, and then we'll kind of expand from there.
Yeah, so it's a lot of work to get that stuff up.
The swabs are going to take a while. It's just flat out going to take a while, and we probably won't have samples initially just because our quantities, we started out with such small quantities, and frankly we just don't have the time to do up all the samples. Not with the holidays, not with the baby, everything else. So if you have your eye on a bottle, go ahead and snag it up, because I can't promise how long we'll have it or how long it'll take to come. It's going to take a while.
Yeah.
For us to have it in stock regularly.
Yeah, but you know we're you know looking at it more long term. You know, we didn't want to dive in and get, you know, massive quantities of every color right off the bat, because we would probably go broke with as many colors as they have. But so we had to start small. We'll see which colors are popular, learn about them ourselves, swab them up, see what, I mean, a lot of these, there are no swabs, period.
You would never know,
you
other
never
than
know
a
what
review
color these
like
are.
that vanilla scented is a dark purple color.
Yeah.
You know, things like that.
And those are things that we thought would be a good opportunity for us to carry the brand so that we can help with things like that.
Our hope was it would come in sooner than it did, but we can't.
Yeah.
We just don't have any control over it. So
yeah,
it'll be something we'll just tackle over the next couple months.
And then any spare time that I would have had to start doing that stuff, you know, we came up with this idea for the Nib Nook, and
there's a lot of
that has
taken
taken time.
that are popping up.
Okay,
so.
go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
I'm gonna, they're kind of going to be out of order. I'm going to try to stay on topic as much as we can.
Okay.
Detail about the ink, where they made, you know, what's the background, how long do the scents last, that sort of thing.
Okay. It's made in Germany.
They've been around 25 years.
Yep, they've been around for a while. There's a lot of different colors. A lot of them overlap, either special edition ones, or they're scented, but they're the same color as the certain non-scented ones. The scents are pretty strong. I think they're probably the strongest scented inks out there.
But they really, once they hit the paper, they really don't last that long.
Yeah, it's really more for the person writing it than it is for, I mean, you know, if you write it on a letter and you mail it to somebody, they're not going to smell it.
I don't know of any scented inks that are going to last like that. It's really more for your enjoyment when you're writing.
Yeah.
And they're definitely strong. You definitely will smell it while you're writing.
Yeah.
You know, or sniffing out of the bottle or whatever.
And I've heard from some people that have used their scented inks that it can take some work to clean it out of the pens too after you use it as well.
Oh, the smell?
Yeah. So be aware of that. But it is kind of cool.
Comparison for the ink is like Mont Blanc, Schaefer, other. You know, we just honestly we haven't had time.
We haven't had time to play with. We've done it
swabs. That's it.
Yeah,
and swabs you can't really.
I've read some reviews and stuff like that. You know,
I've heard
the best
it's comparable to diamine.
Yeah, it's about, in terms of saturation and color selection, it's about like diamine. I've heard that some of the better attributes of the ink is that its dry time is relatively quick. So it's not as long to dry as maybe some other inks, but
yeah, the scents are definitely nice. And you know, we haven't swabbed up the colors yet, obviously, but like there's a lot I'm excited to see.
There's a lot of colors.
The colors
period.
are just beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
What other questions have we got here?
I'm trying to see what else is related to Atramentis, because then there's some other random questions.
Okay.
All the scented inks look black. Are they mostly black? No, not at all.
No,
it's
no,
just
no.
the way these photos are coming out, and these are not our pictures. We haven't had a chance to do our own yet. But there's reds, there's blues, there's purples, there's oranges, greens. It generally matches the scent, but sometimes doesn't. So that's where the swabs are going to come into.
Yeah, and we're working to put descriptions of everything, at least until we can get a swab up. We're going to put a description of what scented inks are which colors, because certain ones you wouldn't guess. That a vanilla might be blue or something like that.
If we don't carry color, can it be ordered? Yes, but again,
don't even bother.
Yes.
The lead time is so long.
Yes, but expect a couple months.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really long lead time.
We're gonna talk to see if they can do some more expedited shipping options.
Yeah.
But for right now, like I said, I ordered October. The first of it started coming in maybe early November. I think at the earliest it was like 5-6 weeks, but some of it's just coming in now. So we'll do our best, and we'll keep expanding as you guys tell us. I just started with a couple lines I thought would be popular, but we're certainly open to more. And as we swab it, that'll also help show us where the gaps are and what might be duplicates, because there are over 300 colors available. But again, I think some of the people or the locations, those are some duplicates of some other lines.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn with any brand that size. So it'll take us a while. So
okay, I want to make sure we hit all the questions.
Okay, let's go for it. We got a lot of questions here.
I know. Someone's asking about TWSBI pens. We are getting a small shipment of 540s on Friday. It's not enough for our current wait list, but it's something. So if you really want it, sign up for the wait list, and you hit those up when they come in on Friday. So those are the clear 540s, as well as some more ink bottles. Again, limited quantities, but we're doing what we can.
We're trying to.
More coming in a couple
Trying
weeks.
to get as many as we can without being a total pest to TWSBI.
Well, even if we were a pest, they only have so many to give. So,
yeah.
And if you're asking about colored 540s or the VAC 700 or anything like that, they're coming just after the new year. And, the Micarta, things like that. So we'll let you know when we know more. Let's see.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I hit all the questions here. Someone's asking about the breather tube and the AHAB.
If
you lose it or miss it, is it
We've been
critical?
emailed several times about that. Several people have already lost their breather tubes, usually down the sink when they're going to clean the pens. The breather tube is not critical to the use of the pen. It does help when filling the pen a little bit. It allows you to get a little bit better ink capacity into the pen. I found that with the breather tube, I was able to get about 1.9 milliliters of ink into the piston. If you don't use the breather tube, you can get about 1.7 milliliters. So it's not a huge difference, maybe a 10% difference. But, if you lose your breather tube, don't freak out. We're working on trying to get some extra breather tubes, but Nathan's spread so thin these days, I'm not sure it's something that we can get right away. But just to let you know, I did do some experiments with taking the breather tube out, writing without the breather tube. I didn't notice any difference at all when I was writing, and filling. It fills almost as well. You can't get quite as much ink in there because you can't get the ink all the way up into the actual piston rod, which is hollow. And you can get ink in there with the breather tube. You can see some of my videos on filling there, but if you lose your breather tube, it's not the end of the world.
Going back, some folks are asking about samples of the Atramentis, how soon. As I mentioned earlier,
it's going to be a while. Just be patient.
We'll try over the next couple weeks to get to it, but getting things done like ink drop and fulfilling regular orders, those come first. As we have the time, again with the baby coming, it's our staff is working to the max, and they're all busting their butts. So if we can get to it, we will. But and I'll list them on the website as we get them done.
Yeah.
So they'll trickle in as we do them. I'm not going to list them before they're ready to go. So we'll do our best.
Yeah, it's gonna be the kind of thing we're not gonna magically have samples of 150 different colors overnight. It takes a long time to get that many samples done. So as we do them, we'll get them listed
with the swabs as we kind of do them, and we'll do them in batches. A dozen colors at a time.
Yeah, again, because it took so long to come in, it's really kind of like the worst timing ever for us. because we're trying to wrap things up before the baby comes. The baby's going to come. We're going to be walking zombies. We're not going to have the time to even think about that kind of stuff. So
we got to focus on our priorities.
Yeah. So it's just going to be a little while. But we at least wanted to offer the bottles while we have them.
Someone's asking about iron gall inks. Confirm the safety of iron gall inks for use in all fountain pens.
Well, the iron gall, there's only 3 iron gall inks that we have. It's the Diamine Registrars, and the Rohrer & Klingner, Scabiosa, and Salix. If you look up iron gall inks on Wikipedia or other resources, it'll talk all about how it's, corrosive and stuff like that. And that's true. True iron gall inks are corrosive, and you usually only want to use them with dip pens. Diamine Registrar, and I think Mont Blanc even has some iron gall ink as well. Modern formulations of iron gall ink are not the full strength stuff that it was back in the day. It's a very, I don't know the exact formulation of it, but it's a much tamer version. So, it may still affect your fountain pens over a very long period of time. So I would maybe not use them with really valuable or particularly important, irreplaceable pens. But if you want to use those inks, get a Preppy or get some, a $4 or $10 or $20 pen. Sure. Use it with that and enjoy the crap out of the ink. But, just realize that iron gall is a little bit different breed of ink than a regular ink is. But it's not like if you ink it up into your pen once, it's going to immediately destroy your pen. It's not like that. It's if you use it for an extended period of time. Sure. Over time,
just because the acid levels are.
Yeah. It's because there's what's it called? Is it tannic acids? I can't remember. I'm kind of tired, but you can
reverse pH.
Wikipedia's got actually a really good post about it, and
look up iron gall.
And it actually specifically lists the registrars and the Rohrer & Klingner as a different formulation. But there you go. When in doubt, don't use it.
Let's see. Want to make sure. The Rhodia number 18, the premium pads lined with the orange cover finally showed up.
Yep.
Goodness, it was like a year. They finally showed up.
A year minus a week. I think it was December 14th.
Well, that's when the catalog came out. They were supposed to come out
that's when the catalog.
Usually March, April, new products come out.
Yeah, well, I'm saying it has been literally almost a year since they announced that those particular pads were coming, and we just.
It's not Exoclear's fault. It's just that things, shipments kept getting delayed, or maybe there are quality control issues or whatever. So finally we have the full premium line. And of course now Rhodia is announcing they're working on their new catalog. It's like, oh goodness, what now? what new, we finally got everything in. What else? So
we know there's some things they were talking about.
But they haven't announced anything yet.
Yeah, I don't even want to speculate.
They just hinted. They said more orange pads. Like, okay.
I don't even want to speculate.
Oh, you know what? If they're saying more orange pads, maybe it's orange covered dot pads. Who knows? We don't know. We don't know anything yet. Let's see. You guys are going off on a tangent about Scabiosa. It's a beautiful color. Absolutely.
It is. Actually, I'm really impressed with all the Rohrer & Klingner. I haven't given it the time that I wanted to blog about it or talk about it. And we had the 5 new diamond colors come in too. It's like we've been so slammed that I haven't been able to talk about any of this stuff. But the Rohrer & Klingner colors, the palette is just awesome. The whole line. And actually, Old Goldgrun was the one that really came out of nowhere and surprised us, as it's been the most popular one. Then Salix and Scabiosa have been pretty popular too.
Oh, they lost. Did you guys lose us again?
Uh-oh. It looks like we're still broadcasting.
Oh, no, we're frozen.
Really? Gosh. Sorry, everybody. Oh, there, it just kicked me off. Okay, I will try it again. That's really frustrating. Try refreshing the page. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, let's go back to this. Alright, I'll try and get this going again. Part 3. Goodness. Okay. Of course, we're just being plagued with technical issues tonight. Still there? Okay, I got my chat back. Okay, I'm sorry everybody. Jeez, I don't know what happened this time. We didn't lose power. It just, my computer just fritzed out there. I lost my video recording. I lost the broadcast for no good reason whatsoever.
I can't even get it playing again here.
Really? Do you need to refresh or something?
Yeah, I might lose the chat, but that's alright. Let me refresh.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Yeah, here it says part 3. Play. Yeah. Oh, sorry guys.
Yeah, geez. Okay.
Wait, am I even logged in? Yeah, okay, it's coming.
Getting it back here? Okay.
Maybe. It's been slow.
Man, I hope I can get that video going again. Anyway, yeah, sorry, gosh. Well, we'll look to wrap up things here pretty soon because we're having all kinds of technical issues here tonight, and
it's meant to be
because the video split up. It's gonna be endless work for me to piecemeal that thing back together to post it on YouTube anyway. So my night just got longer. But anyway, yeah. So what were we talking about? We were talking about the Rohrer and Klingner, line of inks is impressive. Their colors are pretty cool.
We're talking about Atramentis.
Well, I was talking about Rohrer and Klingner when we cut out. Yeah, the Atramentis just has so many colors. Oh my gosh. And the scents, and some of the scents are really interesting. Things like wood and tobacco. And
well, wood hasn't arrived yet.
Right. But I mean, cookies and chocolate and, just really interesting stuff. So we're learning all that stuff. Were there any other questions?
You guys I saw you guys in the chat. Yeah, there are really no good swabs out there. There are some kind of swabs done with, by Atramentis or on their site, but I've heard they're not all that accurate. They're not, it's kind of like some of the Noodler's ink swabs. They're just not exactly accurate. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know, believe me, I know firsthand how hard it is to get color accurate swabs on a computer screen. It's not easy to do. So the swabs that are out there are junk, and which was really part of why we wanted to carry.
And there are no swabs of the scented ones at all.
Yeah, which was part of why we wanted to carry the brand, was because we know how to do swabs, and we already have the tool for a whole bunch of other colors, so we knew that it would be something really, really advantageous to bring into our website and to add into our lineup, if you will. So we're eager to do that, but at the same time, we're going to have a lot of family things that are going to need to be prioritized as well. So in a perfect world, we would have gotten these inks sooner and we would have had this all done before the baby came, but now it is not the case, and it's just going to take a couple of months probably before we're really able to get it all done.
At the end of the day, it's just ink. Family first.
Yeah. If it's any consolation, we still have about 400, slightly over 400 colors that you can look at in the swap shop. 400,
I can't afford 16 or 15 or some. It's over 400.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see here. Somebody was asking about something.
Someone asked about converting a Kaweco to an eyedropper, and we do have a video on that.
I have a video.
So you can check the blog.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people do that because, they don't take a converter. So
that's a really popular pen to convert to an eyedropper because it's cheap. It's a relatively cheap pen. And then, it gets a really good ink capacity. Sort of like the Preppy. It's really popular to convert those to eyedroppers too. I got a video on that one too, on Ink Nouveau. So, yeah, sorry about ads and everything that everybody got dropped off.
It's frustrating for us too.
Yeah. Can a Namiki Falcon be converted to an eyedropper? I believe it can. I've never tried it myself. But that would definitely be an interesting thing for me to try in all of my spare time. No, I believe it can. I haven't done it myself. But search around on some reviews of the Falcon. I'm sure somebody has tried it.
What about a Plumix? Someone's asking.
A Plumix, not really, because the Plumix has this little indentation kind of punched in the back of it. Sometimes it's just an indentation. Sometimes it punches all the way through and creates a hole in the back of the pen. So I actually had gone through one random day to kind of spot check the Plumixes that we had on hand, and I found about a third of them were able to be converted to an eyedropper, and about 2/3 of them weren't.
It's inconsistent.
It's too inconsistent to say yes you can do. So in theory you can convert a Plumix to an eyedropper, but no, you really kind of can't. I wouldn't plan on it.
No, you might get lucky, but I wouldn't plan on it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh, lots of.
You like the
stuff.
Lamy Safari, but not the ink capacity. Is there anything comparable that holds more ink? I don't believe there's anything to fit the Lamy, because the Lamy uses, proprietary. And the converters, the Z24 and 26 are pretty comparable in how much ink they hold.
The cartridge will hold a little more ink than the converter will. You can refill the cartridge.
Oh, anything comparable, like pen-wise, that holds more ink. I didn't think about that. Sorry, I misread the question. Rory's all about the Schaefer Prelude, and that the converter is amazing. We love the Schaefers.
I'm a big fan of the Schaefers.
We regularly have several inked up.
The Schaefer 100. Granted, it's a completely different pen than Safari, but it's right in that same price range, and it has a better ink capacity than the Safari does. You're talking about a metal pen versus a plastic one. But we're big fans of the 100.
Yeah, and the fact it comes with a
converter. It comes with a converter, so it's actually cheaper than the
awesome.
Safari, if you consider the cost of the converter.
It's a wet writer, so you have to like your ink. if you're used to like a Lamy extra fine, then the Schaefer's going to be way too broad writing.
Yeah,
for
the
you.
TWSBI might be an alternative. The TWSBI is about twice the price as a Safari, but in my opinion, it's twice the pen, if not more so.
How does it compare to the Intrigue? I don't know. We don't carry it. I haven't tried it myself.
No idea.
So, don't know.
Yeah.
Trying to read. I just got into fountain pens. I have a Cross Sentiment and a Noodler's Flex nib, both fine point, which I tend to prefer. What's a good third pen for me to buy?
Well, the Noodler's pen, I'll be putting that up on the Nib Nook here soon. I actually have it inked up, and I was going to do it today. I didn't get time, but I should have it done in the next couple of days, and I'll have that up on the Nib Nook so you can compare the nib size to other ones. Oh gosh, things that compare.
You could go Lamy. You could go, the Schaefers we were just talking about. Mm-hmm. It really depends what you like.
I'm not familiar with the Cross Sentiment.
Nor I.
Yeah, shoot me an email about that one. I'll have to think about that. Brian@gouletpens.com. Yeah. Okay, gosh, so many questions. Okay.
The Prera, yeah, you could try the Prera.
Yeah, the Prera might be a good option. Yeah, that's going to get you a fine point for sure. Pilot's really good about those fine nibs. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else new or coming in. We talked about the tinted Ahab demonstrators coming in Friday, and like we said, there's not going to be a big release, so sign up for the email list if you want first dibs. The black ones will probably be here shortly after the new year. I don't think they'll make it in time for Christmas, but you never know. You really never know. Let's see. What else?
Lots of tangents going on here in the chat.
Yeah, they talk about the magic unicorn ink at Atramentis. It smells like unicorns. Like, yeah, because you know what unicorns smell like, because they're not real. What nib size would be the equivalent of an accountant's nib? I believe it's like extra fine or extra fine.
I mean, you're not going to find extra fines.
Extra fine or smaller.
Yeah.
Yes, Sailor nibs. It's a very rigid extra fine.
Yeah.
And I don't believe Atramentis has the Magic series. There's really nothing magical about them. It's just a branding thing. Just so you guys aren't thinking like, oh, let's get the unicorn ink and then it'll make things happen. No, it's just ink. It's just ink, just regular ink. And now you're going off about, whether Pegasi, I guess that's the plural, Pegasuses, Pegasi. It's Skittles and pooping rainbows. All right. What else? Do you guys have any questions? Okay, keep in mind, we'll have one more broadcast next week unless baby girl comes early. So this could be the last one of the year. If not, it'll be next year. Mm-hmm. Any questions for us? Otherwise, it could be several weeks until we're back with you. And of course, this is such like a dramatic thing with all the power going in and out. And I know we've lost a lot of folks. But
yeah, we're sorry about that.
But any questions for us? Anything,
one thing is I launched something on Ink Nouveau this week. Mm-hmm. I think it's my most recent post called the Mailbox, where basically I kind of take the better portions of certain emails that I get with random assortment of questions and show you what my responses are to them. And literally, I am copying and pasting their questions and my responses. Now I do edit some things here and there, either for typos, and I take names out, and I only put the pertinent information that's answering that question. But it gets you the idea of kind of what my thoughts are in an email. And the reason I wanted to do it was because there are a lot of times there's things that I'll get asked multiple times a day, and it's something that obviously is on a lot of people's minds, but it's maybe not something that's relevant enough to warrant an entire blog post. So it's nice to be able to just kind of knock out a bunch of random questions in one post. So I'm thinking I can probably make it a pretty regular thing, because I'm already answering all the questions anyway, and time management is going to become a pretty serious issue for me here in 2 weeks. So if it's the kind of thing where it doesn't take me a huge amount of time, but it can be of great benefit to a lot of people, that's kind of a win-win. So I think I'll look to, and the feedback was really good on the post as well, if you look in the comments. I am going to look at some formatting things and maybe look about structuring it a little differently, but the main idea was I'll just get these questions and answers out there, and then the information is there at least. So there you go. So if you like it or not, you can shoot me an email about it. Let's see here.
A couple questions. Someone just asked if you need to suspend ink drop a couple months, who do you write to? Email orders at gouletpens.com for pretty much everything. If Alex, she's awesome, she manages that box, but if she can't answer, it'll get forwarded to the right person. So if you have shipping questions, ink drop questions, product questions, order anything at all, orders at gouletpens.com is our main box. So if you have questions about your ink drop membership, email that. Someone else asked about can we reveal anything about the upcoming smaller Edison Nouveau? It'll be ready January at the earliest, but we're shooting for January.
I don't really want to reveal anything because we're still tweaking the design.
The only things that we've definitely said, it's going to be a little shorter than the Premier. It's not going to have the same tapered ends. It's going to have a little bit more of more of a flatter, I guess. But it's going to carry a lot of the same essence of the Premier. But it's going to have some new features. We haven't figured out the colors yet. But
Brian's been tweaking the design, and we've been giving him our feedback, and we've seen some of his latest prototypes, and it's getting pretty exciting because I think it's going to be a pretty awesome pen.
Someone's talking about all the new ideas that are popping up on the site. It says apply Noodler's ink to a sheet and go as the swab shop for Halloween.
Oh my gosh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
No one would know who you are. You'll have to explain it. Sort of like when I walk, like when we go out to eat, and I have this shirt on.
Oh my gosh!
Somebody's like, "Oh, what's ink drop?" And it's like, "Oh gosh."
Goodness. I don't wear mine out.
How do you explain it to somebody who's never heard of it before?
Never heard of fountain pens. Never try to explain ink. It's really
Heartman85, you're asking, aren't I Brian? Yeah, I'm Brian Goulet, but we're talking about Brian Gray of the Edison Pen Company.
Do we sell empty Lamy bottles? They would make convenient inkwells. We do as we sell enough
samples, but it's not often.
But so it's
it's not often. We get the same thing asked about Namiki bottles, even Sailor bottles. Anything where there's not a lot of colors in the range, It's only so often. Like, I mean, Lamy has a couple of decent colors. The rest of them are kind of so-so. So it's like, we really don't sample them that often enough to get empty bottles very often. So...
another question that popped up above. Where was it? Where? Brian, did you ever try to fit the Con 20 on a VP or Plumix? I'm the one that had so much trouble and was just wondering if I'm the only one. Con 20 on a VP?
No, I never tried.
I've heard of people using it, but we haven't tried
it
yet.
It should fit. I mean, it's the same opening on both pens. You should more or less be able to use the Con 20 and Con 50 on the same pens.
Except if
some
you
of them
have
might be
older models.
some of them might be a tighter fit than others, but I haven't extensively tried that. That hasn't been at the top of my priority list lately. I will confess to that. Let's see here, catching up on other things. Gosh, there's a lot of activity in the chat here.
Someone's asking about TWSBI inkwells. We'll have a limited stock on Friday, but, not as many as we'd like, but more are supposed to be coming in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other questions? It's almost 10, so we'll actually kind of wrap up on time, more or less.
Yeah.
The Edison Nouveau Premier LE is out. We've sold a good amount so far,
Yeah,
but there's still plenty.
The first few people are starting to get them now. I know, they've been
Yeah, someone just
out.
posted in here that they got theirs.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we haven't seen ours in person yet. We're still
we're still waiting on our artist proof. Brian's waiting on shipping that to us. I'm excited to get it in. And obviously, if we have it in hand next time, we'll talk about it, during the next broadcast. But Brian's done a good job of taking pictures of the pens himself.
L. Lawrence, we don't have an ETA for. We talked to Nathan about that because we ordered more from. He makes some custom for us. We ordered more a while ago. We talked to him, I think, late last week. He's having trouble getting the components needed to make the ink because these Eternal inks have special, ingredients and stuff. So it'll be a while. We don't have an ETA. He's subject to being able to get the supplies. So no ETA. The TWSBI I mentioned, we're getting some on Friday. Those are the clear ones. The other colors will be coming after the new year. Someone's asked about the TWSBI 850. It doesn't exist yet. It's still in development. So next year,
it's gonna be a while.
We don't have anything. Does that apply to all the Russian UK? No, there are some he was able to do. He mentioned like Matahari's Cordial. He's got none. I don't know what colors. I won't know till they arrive. But I know he's actively working on them at this moment, or as of the end of last week at least. So we should
it's at this very
no,
moment.
I mean like it's on his current slate of things that he's working on. As of last week, he was making some, so we should get some soon. I just don't know what colors will come until they arrive.
And City Blessed, you're asking about what's a good Schaefer to get. I mean, if you're the Snorkel or the Balance, those are good if you're going the vintage route. We only carry the new ones, so my recommendation if you want to get into Schaefer is always to look at the 100.
The Prelude's awesome too.
The Prelude is great, but the 100
is a little heavier.
But the 100, because of its price point, is awesome. It's $28, and that comes with a converter, and it's the same nib and feed that's on the 300 and the Prelude.
Can the Schaefer VFM be converted to an eyedropper?
The Schaefer VFM, no.
It's
a metal body pen, so it's metal on the inside, and the ink is not going to play nicely with the aluminum of the pen.
It only accepts standard international cartridges. It doesn't take a converter. And someone's asking about a mini converter for the Kaweco.
The Monteverde converter.
We've heard mixed results.
I have a Monteverde converter, and it's really cheap. I mean, it's really flimsy, and it doesn't seat very well on the pen. You can use it, but it's really not that great. But the option is there if you want to do it. We don't carry the converters, the Monteverde converters, but they're around. You can get them. I think Amazon has them for a couple of bucks. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, VAC 700. You asked about that. That'll be ready just after the new year. that's the latest news. Just go to Twisby's Facebook page for anything Twisby related. That's where we get a lot of our information besides talking directly to them, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I hit all the questions. I might have missed some. So go ahead and ask them again if I missed you and you want us to address it, or if you have anything else. We'll try to wrap it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm a very tired person these days.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired too.
Growing a person inside of me. Oh, repair supplies. Do we foresee getting into repair supplies anytime soon? Probably not.
It's gonna be tough. We really don't deal with a lot of vintage or repair related stuff. If for no other reason, because getting an adequate supply of that kind of stuff is darn near impossible. Usually you have to go hunting for that kind of stuff, and we are not very mobile or available to go hunting for things these days. So if we can't get a regular supply,
and someone said we should repair pens. No, there's no time.
Yeah.
If you're going to do anything, you would get into making things again, but
yeah, it's not where my passion lies. My passion, we're trying to keep the way that we do things based on what we're passionate about. Every time we tried to take a diversion, like into rollerballs or calligraphy inks or whatever, we don't really have great success because, we don't really know that world and we're not that passionate about it. So we're just kind of sticking to what we know. And vintage and repairs and stuff is a whole other world. And there's people out there that do it and do a great job, but it's not really in my interest.
Our time is limited and we have to have a work-life balance. And, so we're doing everything we can to keep our business running and, and now focusing on our family for a little bit.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
That's what we're sticking to. And eventually if time frees up and as we train more folks and free up, we'll see where our passions take us. Who knows?
Yeah. So there you go. That'll do it for tonight. That's a nice solid hour we got in there, minus a little bit of downtime for the power outage and the thing dying and all that. But thanks everybody for
hopefully
all your
we'll
support.
See. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll see next week. It's like I wouldn't mind if the baby came early, but honestly, I'm really not ready. I'm ready. The house is not quite ready. So.
Well, what do we remember about the week before Joseph was here? It's like we'll forget everything that we weren't prepared for. I mean, it's like
I took off work the whole week before he came, and I'm really glad I did.
Well, once she comes, then we'll never remember life before her, and she'll change everything, family. And that's it. So we're excited.
We'll plan on seeing you next week. Definitely not after that because that's when she'll be born. But
right.
If not, obviously we'll keep you posted. If anything happens, you'll see it on Facebook, Twitter, blog post, whatever. But otherwise, we'll see you next week, and check out all the new stuff on our site. Check out the Nib Nook. Check out the Atramentis inks.
Yeah, we're gonna try
all the new stuff that's coming on Friday. The Ahabs, the Twisbys, all that sort of stuff. So.
We're gonna try to keep you updated on everything because we actually do have a lot of cool stuff going on in the next month or two that is really exciting. So even though we'll have a lot going on personally, we still got a good staff.
We
have
a great team. Again, you can read all their bios on our website, so you can match the faces to the names of people you correspond with. Yep. They're going to keep things running just super smooth, and so don't worry, your orders will still get out.
That's actually part of why we brought so many people on that we did, is because we knew, obviously for the last 9 months we've known that this time is coming, and that we got to get everybody trained up so that we can keep things going. And I think that's worked out really well, and everybody's loving working for us, and we're having a great time. We enjoy working there.
We really do.
You guys can only imagine what it's like to work where we work. It's like being in a candy store every day. It's just a blast. But anyway, so thanks everybody for spending time with us on your Wednesday evening here. We do appreciate it, and we will be, as the plan is now, we'll be back here next week. On the 14th.
Let you know otherwise.
Yeah, but in case we don't see you, we'll be around. I'll do blog posts here and there. It's gonna be a little sparse for a while, and we'll post updates, with baby pictures and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So you'll know what's going on. But
absolutely, yeah. We haven't announced the name. You'll know the name, of course. Once.
Yeah.
Assuming she's a she and the ultrasound was correct.
Yeah.
We're not taking the tags off the clothes just yet, just in case. But we're pretty sure she's a girl.
Yep.
Never know.
Yeah, but if there's any questions you had here that we didn't cover, or you wanted us to answer, more in depth, shoot us an email. You can either email orders@gouletpens.com, or you can email me, Brian, at gouletpens.com. Don't email Rachel; she's got enough going on.
Email orders. That's the main box. Orders@gouletpens.com.
Yep.
And we'll make sure someone addresses it.
Yep. Yes, and the Ahabs are going to be here on Friday.
Yep.
Jin. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everybody, and we will hopefully see you next week.
We'll see.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.